Zinbryta is a novel product that's currently undergoing regulatory review with the European and the US regulatory authorities. It's gone through a pretty robust clinical development program here in our company at Biogen. It's a novel molecule because it's a human monoclonal antibody that reversibly kind of modulates the IL-2 signal pathways, and as a result of which causes a targeted reduction in the activated T cells, and also enables an expansion of the immunoregulatory cells, which is the CD56 bright NK cells. So in short, it's a reversible product. It causes targeted impact on the pro-inflammatory activated T cells and does not cause immune cell depletion. It's had a pretty robust clinical program. We've had a total of 6 studies, phase 2 and phase 3. And the last study, which is called DECIDE, which is the phase 3 program, which has over 1,800 patients completed. And I'm excited to say that the results were published in the New England Journal of Medicine. So it's a big kudos to the team that's behind the efforts. And as far as the study results, we presented the data on the primary and secondary outcomes already, essentially showing that eculizumab or Zinbryta was superior to the active comparator in the study, which is interferon beta 1a, on the primary endpoint, which is annualized relapse rate, or ARR as we call it. It also was statistically significant or superior in terms of reducing the T2 hyperintense lesion burden. And at this meeting, what is exciting is we were able to present some post hoc data, essentially looking at the evidence of disease progression. So nearly twice as many patients on Zinbryta actually showed no evidence of disease progression, both from a clinical standpoint and also an imaging standpoint. Secondly, we also looked at cognition in patients in this program, and I'm happy to say that there was a significant improvement in the cognitive processing speed test, which essentially translated means that it's a clinically meaningful improvement in patient lives, especially when it comes to their social interactions and functioning. And lastly, we also saw reductions in the risk of progression in terms of disability progression at 24 weeks. I think just based on the program, it was a randomized study which actually had an active control, which is interferon beta 1a. And the fact that we've got some significant reductions on the primary endpoint, which is about 45% reduction in ARR, the primary, tells me that this is a product that could be considered for the patients needing high efficacy. As a physician, I'll give you my viewpoint. I think every medicine is important. Each medicine has a role for each patient at a certain point of time. And certain patients prefer injectables for convenience, certain patients prefer orals, and certain patients have infusions. And it also depends on the disease level of activity. So I think what is interesting is that doctors are going to be able to have multiple of therapeutic options to be able to choose from for their patients. It's actually a subcutaneous injection given once a month. So again, from a standpoint of patient quality of life, this definitely gets them that opportunity to just have one injection once a month subcutaneously. I think again, it's going to be a patient choice, but it's also going to be a physician's choice because physicians are going to be able to give this medicine to patients who demand and need high efficacy because their disease activity demands so. On the other side, patients sometimes prefer the convenience of injecting themselves at certain time periods, in this case once a month, and may not want to have an oral. So I think this enables a dialogue between the physician and the patient in terms of what's best for them. As an organization that's very focused on research and development, these kinds of options are always in the minds of people in terms of can we look at better ways to formulate the medicine, better ways to conveniently administer. But I should tell you that an injection once a month to me does not sound that bad. You have people with diabetes injecting themselves 3-4 times a day. And for patients with MS, if they can give them the quality of life they need, if they can give them the outcomes they need, and also the clinical and imaging outcomes that we see in this program, I think it's a great thing. I would say just based on the 6 studies that we've seen in phase 2 and phase 3, the thousands of patients evaluated so far, I would say the benefit risk profile is very favorable. And at this meeting we've also presented data on both 3 years and 8 years as part of the extension program, where we really see no signals, no new signals. So I would say from the standpoint of the healthcare community and patients, it's a favorable benefit risk profile. The most notable ones were hepatic liver enzyme elevations, cutaneous side effects and infections, and all of them were mild to moderate. And so again, from a manageability standpoint, they all are easily manageable with monitoring. This has been studied obviously versus interferon beta 1A as a monotherapy, so that's the indication. In terms of how it works with other medications, it's the same holds true as it with other MS medications. Physicians have to consider comorbid conditions, have to consider concomitant meds, but as of now, we really don't have anything to say in terms of any kinds of interactions with other medications. This would mean one more product that the physicians can use to provide hope to patients with MS, to provide hope to patients who actually need this, to give patients a chance who need the high efficacy option to be able to go on the drug. I think personally for Biogen and for AbbVie, who are our partners in this, I think this is a moment of pride. It's a moment of great pleasure to be able to come to this meeting, to ECTRIMS, to present the post-hoc data that is a continuity of our efforts to be able to bring this very important product to the healthcare community. Right place, right drug, right time, right for the right patient. So there can never be too many options. Each patient is an individual on his own or her own. And I just think that this is a unique opportunity for us to kind of say, here we have a product that we are hoping to bring forward to the community so physicians can use that as part of their treatment options.